So we've discussed lots of different ways to control your fixture, to do manual gel matching, hold color point, adjustments, things like that. But another large component of this color tool work is how we deal with fades. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my fade module. By default, we fade in what is called the native space of the fixture. So to do an example of that, I'm going to go ahead and say 31 through 45 at full, and let's put all of them in Lux 23. So I've got a nice amber downlight. I'm going to go ahead and record that into Q101. So let's go ahead and grab those fixtures again, put them in a nice 83, going to a night look. Maybe I want the better spectral match, so I'll go ahead and hit 83 again. And I'm going to record that as Q102. So with those channels selected, you'll notice what we get in our color space now is the path that those fixtures are going to take through the color space. This is what we call the native color fade. The parameters are going to fade without any intervention from the color space. But we have the ability to control how that fade occurs. So if you look at your fade tool, we have lots of different path types that emulate different types of color spaces. So for example, if I wanted to fade my fixture as if it were hue saturation, you can see that the path goes from orange, jogs through red and magenta, and then ends up at blue. If I wanted to emulate the crossfade of two fixtures with gel fading between one another, I can drop in my gel color path. And you'll also notice below that I get a preview bar of what my colors are going to do, as well as some individual control tools. So I can delay my in color. I can make my out color happen more quickly. And all of this information is stored in the destination queue. So if I like the changes that I've made, I can update my queue. Let's look at what that looks like in playback. So we'll go back to Q101. And with channels 31 through 45 selected, as soon as I hit go, those channels are going to fade along that path. And I get a nice gel crossfade. One of the problems with LED fixtures crossfading is that there's a perceived brightness issue. So there's also a brightness control that allows you to determine if you want there to be a dip in brightness or to allow it to do a straight crossfade. Whenever we store this information, we're storing it in the destination queue, and we're storing it as absolute data. So the information that is here will be stored directly in the queue. So similar to discrete timing and marks, you'll notice that anytime there's a change in your color path information, you'll get a red C next to the channel numbers. That shows that color path information has been modified but hasn't been stored. An update will store that information right into the queue. Finally, you can save color path information. There is a new target type in 2.3, which is called color path, and you can store these and recall them for later use. So if I say channel 31, record color path 101, I can now recall that later for my own use. Double hitting the path key will get you into your color path display list. Keep in mind that color paths are reference data, so if you modify the path information in live and store it directly to the channel, that is treated the same as absolute information. If you store that information back to a color path, we treat it as referenced information. So any modification of that color path will affect any other channels that are using that path everywhere in the show file. Just like other target types, holding Shift and Path will let you see which path is being utilized for each channel. The other place to see path information is in the Channel About window. Thanks for coming with us to take an in-depth look at our color tools for 2.3. If you're interested in learning more about color concepts, there are some links that you can follow to read more about that. And for complete information on these tools, don't forget to read your user supplement, the manual, and check out the forums at etcconnect.com.